The money rotation is starting and I have some very important data to show you guys which is exactly indicating this. So let's talk about that within this new update video, because this is going to be a super important one for both Bitcoin, Ethereum and altcoins. So let's talk about exactly that within today's update video. But first of all, make sure to subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive in towards the most important content. Because first of all, I do want to quickly discuss Bitcoin, since Bitcoin is still in that last wave higher and I'm still expecting a major push for Bitcoin to the top side. But I do think this consolidation for Bitcoin here is bullish for Ethereum and altcoins, because it does give them a lot of room to breathe here and of course move higher itself. If we zoom in a little bit on Bitcoin, we can see it breaking out of this symmetrical triangle and now basically retesting the triangle. So for now it looks like it's going to be a bullish retest, but it seems like Bitcoin is also starting to break in towards this triangle, and this is going to be an important level to watch, because if Bitcoin is in the end going to break down of this symmetrical triangle, yes, then we could be expecting a big move to the downside. And if that isn't going to happen, we are still expecting a rebound, a bounce here and a new move to the top side. So let's hope for exactly that. But that's how Bitcoin is currently looking like. This could still be a major bullish retest, because this symmetrical triangle is of course a very bullish pattern. We also saw some important news hitting the market. We saw the Powell speech yesterday, but he did say absolutely nothing about the markets, and also no mention about his potential resignation. So now I want to discuss the most important topic of this video, because I'm seeing a money rotation this cycle, which is exactly repeating basically, just like we've seen each and every single altcoin season before. But on the flip side, it's also a little bit different, and that's why I do think still a lot of people are missing exactly that. But before we dive in towards this money rotation, let's talk about Bitunix, because right now you can claim some absolutely insane deposit bonuses on Bitunix. So make sure to check it out if you do want to claim some deposit bonuses here. Beginners can claim over 400 USDT by just signing up on Bitunix. So make sure to check it out. You can find the link under this update video and also under all my other update videos here. So make sure to check it out if you do want to be trading this money rotation, and make sure to watch this video till the end, because I do think you do want to trade this money rotation based on all the important data I'm going to show you now. Since now in the market we are seeing the biggest divergence between the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs. The Ethereum ETFs saw massive inflows once again, and the Bitcoin ETF saw outflows, and this is even a bigger divergence than we saw yesterday. This is actually the third biggest day for the Ethereum ETFs, where of course that Bitcoin ETF is seeing outflows. So this is showing us that also on the institutional side a money rotation is starting to happen. Because of these flows we can clearly see divergence, and that is going to mean that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, and I do think this institutional money is a big reason why Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin now, because we are seeing an insane accumulation, and I do think it's more of institutional money than it's currently retail money, and that's why it's a little bit different, but also exactly the same like we've seen before, only the money is flowing out of different pockets than we have seen during the altcoin seasons in 2021 and 2017. So it's going to be very important to be aware of exactly that, and we can just see the insane inflows in towards that Ethereum ETF and then compare it with kind of stagnating Bitcoin ETF inflows here. So interest is switching, the money is rotating in towards Ethereum, and if this is going to continue, then we are just going to flow further in this money rotation cycle, where then afterwards large caps will start pumping, and after that we will see that true altcoin season where also the low caps and basically everything starts pumping. So I'm definitely quite excited for that, and this is something super important happening in the markets right now. We can also see exactly this on the Bitcoin versus Ethereum chart, and we have been highlighting this chart a lot on this channel also before breaking down under this super important moving average line. Once this Bitcoin versus Ethereum chart breaks down through this moving average line on the monthly time frame, just like we saw in 2021 here, that's the exact moment where Ethereum basically starts outperforming Bitcoin, like we can see here. And of course, from here, now the biggest move for altcoins are probably going to be made in this area here, just like we saw in this major altcoin season in 2021. So not only the data, but also the charts are showing us, yes, that money rotation is currently happening now. And I do want to discuss why I do think a lot of people are still underestimating how big of an effect these inflows, for example, but also the strategic reserve companies from Ethereum, how big the effect of those companies accumulating so much Ethereum actually is on the price. And why the effect could even become bigger in the near future here. Because if we just take a look into our facts, over the last day, almost 2,500 new Ethereum was issued. So basically new supply hitting the market. But if you're just going to take a look in towards how much Ethereum the ETFs, for example, and those treasury companies have been buying, it's absolutely insane. Today we haven't seen a lot of treasury companies accumulate yet, but of course the day is just getting started. I do think we will see more buys coming in today. But for example, the ETFs, they've bought almost 150,000 Ethereum, and you are comparing that to a supply of 2,500 Ethereum, which is becoming available daily. So in my opinion, it's an absolutely no-brainer. I do think a huge supply shock for Ethereum is coming soon, and I do also think this is of course a very big reason that we are seeing such a big surge in the Ethereum price already. But I do think there's still so much potential left, because this is absolutely insane, and it does remind me a lot of course what happened with Bitcoin at the beginning, the store of value narrative. I do think it's actually quite similar here. Now I do want to quickly discuss one Ethereum price action chart, because I do think we should not overcomplicate Ethereum here. We are just trading between two super important resistance level, one resistance level which we have already flipped into towards support, and we are now trading slightly above it, and the next resistance level, which is going to be that $4,000 level, which is of course a huge supply zone there. I do think Ethereum could even be breaking back lower a little bit, maybe consolidate a little bit here, because Ethereum was getting pretty overheated. We should stay realistic here. We could see a little bit of consolidation. On the flip side, we are trading in the bull market. Ethereum is showing a lot of strength lately, and I do think that yes, Ethereum could also just start flying higher at exactly the moment nobody is expecting that. But we should also be open to the scenario where we are going to see such a consolidation again for Ethereum. Probably the upcoming days are going to be very important to see where Ethereum is going to be heading from here. I do think that $4,000 level is going to be the next huge resistance for Ethereum, and once Ethereum could be breaking through that, you of course are looking at the previous all-time highs, and once you're going to break that, it's truly going to be Valhalla time, because from there you could be shooting much and much higher, of course, into watch price discovery. And I do think there's still a lot of potential left for this, because we are seeing the Google interest currently spiking for altcoins, and I do think the interest might be spiking here, but I don't know how much retail money is actually entering the market yet, because once we are truly going to see that, plus this huge institutional accumulation, I do think both of those could be driving the Ethereum price much and much higher, because Ethereum did hit this exact all-time high with only retail FOMO. So once retail FOMO is going to return, we're just going to see an insane amount of buy pressure probably. So I'm definitely quite excited for that exactly, and I do think most of this altcoin season interest still needs to actually progress in towards true buying pressure for altcoins. So let's see about exactly that. But also altcoins on the price technical perspective are looking very good. The total 2 market cap, so basically all the altcoins, everything besides Bitcoin. On the 6 monthly time frame, we have a huge symmetrical triangle playing out. On the monthly, we have a MACD bullish crossover, something we've seen only 3 times before in history, always leading to a major pump to the top side for that total 2 market cap. And on the daily, we've seen a golden cross recently, which is also a major bullish signal. Also, the total 2 is literally on the verge of breaking through new all-time highs. So this does seem like a super explosive setup for altcoins. And I do think this is going to result in a major altcoin season very soon. In, of course, this ending stage of the cycle. And here I also do have it in TradingView myself. This total 2 market cap now getting rejected off this wick exactly here. The next one is going to be this basically local high of this bull cycle, and then afterwards we are also going to see major resistance at the previous all-time highs. I do think this total 2 market cap is going to absolutely explode to new highs. So guys, this is looking quite good, and this was also the update video for today. I hope I gave each and every one of you a clear overview of how I'm currently thinking of that money rotation, of that altcoin season, and of course the Bitcoin price action. And guys, from there I will see you guys within the next update video tomorrow.